Hello everybody, welcome into the Hobby War. This is Jason, and welcome. Today, I'm gonna get started on this Knight-Zephyros for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Kind of do it up similar to the Vanguard Raptors that we did a while ago. What I did on this one though was after doing the Army Painter Brush on primer, I took some of this Pro Acryl white primer that I ended up getting in, and kind of did a zenithal, kind of. Anyway, dive right in here with some Citadel Khorne Red. Want to build up some red to throw it back to the other army, but there's no like real flowing hair and whatnot, so inside this big old cape on her back is going to be red. Yeah. Go ahead and block in these colors, get some base coats down, start working on some stone on her, and yeah, get the next mini done and on the move towards painting up at least what I wanted to do for this army. Knight-Zephyros ain't really the best fit in, because same cost as one of my other heroes that's actually in the faction, but I think it's a cool mini, so I wanted to paint one up for a while and get one and fit it in there. And we'll see if it's still the same cost after the updates and stuff come out later for the army, but still, love the model. It's a cool sculpt and stuff, so wanted to get it done. Get it off of sitting around and waiting, since it's one of the few Stormcast Eternal models that I have for my faction. But we'll go ahead and chug through painting up this inner cape red, and I'll catch up with y'all here for the next bit. Alright, here we are moving on to some Catachan Flesh from Citadel again, and blocking in more of the Under Armor bits, just to sort of give it that darker flesh tone, similar to how I did up the Vanguard Raptors for the army. So, going in, and sometimes using the other guy in there for taking a look at where I need to paint, and put color down. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get this into the inner armor parts, and then we'll move on to the next color here in a little bit. So for this episode, I noticed there's going to be a lot of footage. I figured I'd leave it all running at 2x speed. Just leave it a 45-minute video at 4x, or at 2 times, so it was about a little over an hour and a half total footage. I did have to take a couple breaks in there to type up some stuff, so we'll see how it all goes. There's chapters can jump around, so I figured it's no big deal if we just let it run and leave it quiet for some hobbying. Alright, so anyway, we'll go ahead and get this initial coat down of Catachan Flesh, and I'll catch up with you all here in a bit for the next paint. Righto, here we go, moving on to Citadel Retributor Armor. So, this is a nice metallic gold that I tend to use for a base coat for a lot of these. And it goes on pretty nicely. I'm pretty happy with it. I need to get a new pot of it because this one's just about dead. But besides that, I think a lot of my original paints that I were using are just about done at this point. Need to get new ones. But I think I'll try to stick with Retributor Armor. You know, we're gonna do up a lot of the armor on it. Later on, kind of noticed that right here actually, I hit the boot with gold. And that's not how the other guy's done. But then I noticed it later when I was like, oh wait, why did I do this boot gold? And yeah, I just left it gold. I painted the other one gold as well just to make them match. So she's got some gold shoes for reasons. But gold is used for their armor, so she actually has armor shoes. Who knows? I go ahead and pick out a lot of the areas because, again, we're just doing base coats, just blocking in color areas. I'm not really sure what to do for the cloak on this one, but we'll figure that out later. I'm thinking just a few layers of wash and call it good. This way it stays relatively earth tone, but if it's too earth tone, it might blend in with the main stone color that I'm going to eventually be doing on the mini. Well, you'll see that later for the stone, for the armor, similar to the other guy there. So that's why it's like, I don't know if I want earth tone, so like a brown wolf pelt or something, but we'll figure that out for the cloak another time. Anyway, this is going to kind of take a while for getting the Retributor armor on everything, so I'll go ahead and let this run. There will be a small dip in there to clean up some stone area that I noticed by clean up some skin area that I missed. So we'll go back to Doombull Brown here in a little while, and then we'll kick right back into Retributor armor. So yeah, that'll be a short little interlude between all this gold plating up. But go ahead and let this run for a while, and catch up with y'all here in a little while when we get on to the next paint. Alright, oh, here's that quick little interlude of Catachan Flesh. I noticed when I did the little armband there around the elbow that I missed some spots, so I want to quickly dip in here with Catachan Flesh and fix that. And then we move back on to Retributor Armor for a little while longer of this, because not quite everything's gold that I wanted it to be. And then later on I noticed I missed some spots, so we'll have to come back to Retributor Armor another time to clean up some of this. But I think I'll save that for when I'm actually working on the gold. Just blocking in colors right now, and I need to hit that other axe to make them matching axes and stuff, but it'll be fine for now. With that, we'll go ahead and catch up with y'all here on the next paint. Alrighto, here we are moving on to Mechanicus Standard Gray. So this paint is very similar in color to the standard plastic gray that everything comes in for Citadel. So yeah, I primed it just to paint it back to that color, but the paint, even though it matches the plastic, it's paint, so paint can stick to it a bit better, and it'll make things way easier. So that's why it's like, well, we primed it one color, now we're painting it back to the plastic color. The weird things you do sometimes. Anyway, for this gray color, it's basically the undercolor for the stone that I tend to do for these guys. So you go Mechanicus Standard Gray, and then Karak Stone, and then some Screaming Skull, and good to go with the stony color. So that's what we're gonna do on this lady, similar to the other guys. Go around all the armor bits that are not gold and get them done up in stone. Because of this weird cloak fur pelt thing she has going on, some of it won't really be seen, so kinda sucks, but it's fine. We'll go ahead and get all of the armor plates done up though in this stone color, and then we'll move on to the next step, which is going to take quite a while. So catch up with y'all here in a little while for that one. Alrighto, here we are moving on to Karak Stone. So for Karak Stone, this is going to be basically the main color of the armor. I want that gray undertone just to sort of knock it back and give it sort of not really a really dark black undertone to it, but it's a medium cool gray, so it works nice for this rocky color that we build up, which, if you can't tell by the chapter length, this step is going to take quite a while. So, it takes loads of layers, just slowly working at it, but I tend to be quite happy with how it looks at the end, so that's why I still do it this way. So we're going to be working at this for, again, quite a while. This step is quite time intensive, but that's because using a lot of thin layers of paint. And when using a lot of thin layers, it can take quite a while. I was tempted to try out the Cuttlefish Colors Yellowstone again, just to see how that would look compared to Karak Stone over the gray. But figured, I think I'll just stick with Karak Stone on it. I can try Yellowstone as a highlight in some areas or something else later, another time. But we'll go ahead and get cracking on this for quite a bit of time and catch up with you all here in a little while for the next paint, which will be basically final highlights on it. See y'all then for that. Alrighty, here we are moving on to Screaming Skull by Citadel as well. So this is basically my final highlight color for the stone color. I could come in with another paint and try to highlight a bit more, and ideally probably would be better to dry brush. Forget which color it is to dry brush. Terminata Stone, I believe, is the color. As a final dry brush instead, but because I have all the gold blocked in, I don't really want to dry brush much on this mini, so that's why we're doing it good old-fashioned way and just highlighting where it needs to be. But we'll go ahead and finish adding in some of these highlights, and that's basically the stone armor done. So that's the nice thing about this. Even though it takes a while for the first coat, just gotta keep at it. Nice thin layers, eventually build up the effect, and it looks nice. So pretty happy with how the stone is. And we'll go on to one last color before the last call here. So get you in a couple for that one. Alrighto, here we are moving on to Doombull Brown, again by Citadel. This is basically just a Citadel episode, keeping it simple with those paints. But I wanted to use Doombull Brown because when I was doing a larger figure, just doing the 3 colors that I used before on the other guys, the Catachan Flesh, then Blood Reaver Flesh, and Night Questor Flesh, sort of the 3 darker tones, it looked like it was missing something. So I wanted to come in with a slightly reddish tone for this for a darker tone with sort of reddish in it. And Doombull Brown is basically that color. It's a little bit more red than I would like and closer to leather, so but we'll be using Blood Reaver Flesh and Night Questor Flesh on it next episode, so it should turn out fine. So just going over the skin bits with this, and catch up with you all here in a bit for the last call and the spin for this first day of this mini. So catch up with you all in a little bit for that. Oh, also, a couple of dropsies in here. Don't mind those. Alrighto, last call everybody. Last call. So this is about where we got the mini today. And yeah, pretty happy with how it started out. Only downside to finishing up the stone armor basically is that we're gonna have to kind of be careful when painting in that cloak and the little pistol she has tucked away in the back. Yeah, it'll be fun to work on. Anyway, with that, hope y'all got something done during this much longer episode today. Close to 45 minutes. So if you stuck with me the whole time, I appreciate it. And yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap that up today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, otherwise, just want to chat, you can do that in the comments down below. And yeah, I'll catch you all on the next one. So take care, everybody. Have a good one.